Very warm welcome to our respected dignitaries, esteemed panelists, faculty members and dear students to the felicitation and valedictory ceremony of Synergy X Multidisciplinary Research Conclave 1.0. Today has truly been a celebration of ideas, innovation and research excellence. From 84 participating teams to the 24 shortlisted teams, this journey reflects remarkable dedication, creativity and critical thinking. Throughout the day, we have witnessed not just presentations, but the transformation of ideas into meaningful research perspectives. And as we now move into the concluding segment of this event, it is a perfect moment to not only recognize achievements, but also to pause, reflect, and learn from experienced academicians who navigate this research journey at a higher level. In that spirit, before we proceed with the felicitation, let us gain valuable insights from the experts who are actively contributing to the research and publication ecosystem. We now move to the engaging panel discussion on From Manuscript to Publication, Smart Strategies in AI-Driven Research Ecosystem, a topic that beautifully connects what you presented today with what lies ahead in your research journey. To moderate this session, we have Dr. Bimal Patel, Associate Professor, Department of Information Technology, CSPIT, CHARUSAT. Sir, we request you to kindly take over the session.
Hello. Good afternoon, all of you. How is the Josh? Still not high. How is the Josh? Fine. Let me ask the first question. How many of you have watched Durandar? Both. I mean, being an Indian citizen, you must watch it. The way Durandar is hitting and smashing the record. Similarly, we do have Durandars in our panel, who is hitting 6 and 4 every day in terms of research field. So let me introduce our panel first. We do have first panelist as Dr. Trusit Upadhyay, the captain of our ship. I hope we don't need any introduction further for it. Right? Please give a huge round of applause for Dr. Trusit sir. Secondly, we have Dr. Hiren Thakkar, professor from PDU. Please give a huge round of applause to Dr. Hiren Thakkar. And third, we have Dr. Puneet Sharma from Karnataka University. He is actually currently serving as a Dean of Research and Academy. Please give a huge round. Let me start with some simple journey of having a word. I mean, probably we have started with, once we all 4 coordinators are discussing what sort of topic and what sort of title we should go for this particular poster presentation and so on. So we thought synergy can be a best thing by discussing with all coordinators. But as Principal Sir rightly say, we need to have an X factor to the every event. So we thought right now we have got the 2 X factor, 1 X factor as a student, and second we do have an X factor as a panelist. So that's how we have moved to the concept called Synergy X as a part of Multidisciplinary Research Conclave 1. Right? Now, daily probably you are facing issues like how to start writing a paper, after writing a paper, how to submit a paper. So we are going to discuss the related questions related to research paper journey as well as a conference publication. Tulsi sir, we'll start with you first. I think being a mentor also and being a guide to a number of students, the first most important issue we are facing is how to select a good journal. Because journal is the most important thing to decide before probably submitting a paper. So can you share some ideas related to how to fetch the journal so that we have a less rejection part?
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, disclaimer, we are not promoting any movie here. So I would like to first congratulate Team IT and other departments as well for first of all having the course research methodology itself. right? Research at BTech level is not very easily envisioned, in a sense that you have students coming from the schools where they have mugged up everything, written the examination, and then switching to the university environment, and all of a sudden we are talking about the research. And I'm pretty happy that you have done excellent work so that these guys can inculcate some sort of ideas about the research or a thought process about the research. Because as we progress along, the dimensions what are available for employability are going to narrow down, especially with the presence of Gen AI and other tools available. Uh, the entry level jobs are being threatened significantly, and what we foresee is research is the area, domain, or probably one of the brightest avenue which can open up lot many opportunities as you progress along. The way we understand is the only reason why we have taken up research methodology or students have picked up research methodology is that you are planning for higher studies. Other than that, majority of the students, those who have opted for the placements, they may not have taken up the research methodology because this course is elective the way I understand, right? So step one is done, that you have planned for higher studies. Then once you go for the higher studies, eventually if we talk about the grad programs or PG programs, second year will be your complete thesis. First year can be coursework, second year shall be completely thesis, right? So that's where this thing will come into the place. And whatever concepts you have learned, let it be a plagiarism, let it be finding the definitions, let it be looking around for literature review, shall immensely help you while you are taking up thesis in your postgrad program. So this course is pretty good, and I congratulate all the head of the departments for formulating this course and putting it into UG. That's number one. Number two, pertaining to the question which Bimal sir has asked, there are ways and means to look at it. My viewpoint I'll share. If you say that you don't want to go for desk rejection, the prime way to look at it is how ambitious you are. Right? Say you might have done excellent work, but it may not be perfect fit for that journal. Right? So that balance is very important. Let's say for instance, I would like to do all my publication in Nature journal, right? That's quite ambitious, yes, not an issue. But then did you do the work up to that extent wherein you can, you are feeling confident to put up your paper in that particular journal? Since I have the majority of the mass present over here is undergrad students, you may not be able to immediately pick up what I'm trying to convey. But then let's say for an instance, you are doing your final year project, let's say, right? And then that's one of the definition which eventually you would like to submit as a part of the journal paper. Let's say not as a conference paper, but as a journal paper. So while we are looking at the journal paper, there are n number of different criteria when you look at the desk rejections, right? One of the criteria is the scope. The first and foremost criteria is scope. So if it is out of the scope, immediately you will see the desk rejection. So if I have to submit a paper, the way I probably look at is its aim and scope of the journal. Read through completely aim and scope, and then just not only read through but also try to analyze what they are conveying. In a sense, if they say that this journal shall accept theoretical papers, that does not mean that you can just put up a theory and they are going to accept it. That shall definitely face, or that shall immediately face rather, desk rejection. Because while they are quoting about the theoretical aspect of the paper, that means certain derivations which are not available in public domain. You are working from that perspective, right? Basic practice, basic modeling, they may not accept depending on the depth of the journal we are talking. That's one thing. Second thing is, while you are looking at aim and scope, if you want to finalize a journal, so I talked about the impact factor, higher the quantum of work you got to put in. The second aspect, how to find the journal, right, to avoid the desk rejection is, you got to check your own paper first. Say, let's say for an instance, you have written a paper and then you look at the citations, given n number of citation, if 30 to 40% of citation is quoting to a specific journal, right, that's where you are going to target your submission. Your paper itself is going to tell you. I hope you guys are aware about what is citation. Let's say for instance, I write something in my introduction, I write something in my literature review, right? And then I say, all right, fine, this is the journal wherein I got the information and I've written in my literature review. And then we cite it eventually, we reference it, right? So while we are doing the references, we look at our own references. Okay, so 20, 30, 40% of references are coming from this group of journal. That is good fit to avoid the desk rejection. Another way is if you are picking up any specific journal, the golden rule is recent 10 rule. Recent 10 rule says that you got to analyze last 10 publication done in that particular journal. If it is correlating or your work is correlating with that specific set of publication which is already available in that journal, then it is very likely that they will not go for the desk rejection, right? That's very important. There are ethical aspects of the publication as well. That is also the reason, like one of the reason for desk rejection. Let's say for an instance, if you have plagiarized content, right? If it is high impact factor and your plagiarized content is more than 20-25%, they are going to go for desk rejection, right? Now, in current days, quoting, last couple of years, we have also cross-platform sharing of the reviews. Wherein what we see is that, let's say for instance, if you're going for any journal submission in Elsevier, let's say, all right, and then you have already submitted a paper in Elsevier journal and it got rejected somewhere. And then you are resubmitting it without doing any major changes in the manuscript to the same set of, or maybe another journal of Elsevier, then they are going to have a cross-platform, they are going to visualize it, and they are going to immediately go for desk rejection. These are very common ways of looking at it, right? So there are ethical aspects as well. You got to also go through their checklist. They go for, you have, let's say, 8 to 10 different things you got to have in your paper. If your paper is not meeting that criteria, they are also going to immediately throw out the paper. All right, so there are n number of different evaluations, but at the end of the day, it is the balance between how ambitious you are and whether it is the best fit for your work or not, right?
Thank you so much, sir. Currently, probably we can observe that almost every journal are shifting towards the open access policy. I mean, my question to Hiren sir is, I've seen your last 3-4 years paper, you are doing probably an open access paper rather than going for subscription base. So what are the ways to get the funding for any paper that probably we are going to submit in a journal?
Okay, so of course the open access publications are nowadays more popular. There are certain reasons for it being popular. So first of all, the reason for opting for the open access publication is to get the more visibility of your work. And the motivation behind to get the more visibility is to get more citations. So that is what the fundamental idea, that if your work is now more visible, people are supposed to read them, and if they like your work and then your work is aligned with their work, then it is most likely that your work is going to get cited. So that has motivated a lot of researchers to go for the open access publication. Now the question is that open access publications are free for the readers. They can read it without paying any subscription charges. But at the same time, somebody has to bear the cost, and that's how the open access policy works, that the author who has put a lot of efforts by doing the experiments, writing the paper, revising the paper, and then submitting, the author has to finally pay, and that is called as the article publication charges, APC charges. And there are journals who has less APC charges, but most of the journals who qualify for the Web of Science, which we used to call an ACI journals, they are charging enormous amount of APC charges, which is very difficult to cover by the authors, especially who are living in the developing countries and not developing countries. Even that is also difficult for the developed countries. So what do they do in the developed countries? They have the funding agencies. So from the research funding, they used to pay the APC charges. And that is allowed in Western countries as well as in the developed countries, that they put a separate budget head under which they mention that if I will be getting this particular project, then this amount I will likely to spend for the paying the APC charges. This practice is not common in India. Like we also used to get the projects from the funding agency, but they do not encourage us, or there is no such policy to have that particular head where we can afford to pay the APC charges. So now what left for us as part of going the open access, because we also want our work to get more visible and cited. So one of the things that we can do at present in India is to, first of all, initiate, in the early stage, you have to initiate a like-minded collaboration with the people or the researchers working in their prestigious institution, for example, ETH Zurich or UC Berkeley or some another institutions, but it should not be just for the sake of covering the APC charges from the collaborators. Your work must be aligned with the one to whom you are collaborating, because as sir also mentioned that there is an ethical issues also involved. So sometimes like people used to do collaboration just for the APC charges. So even if they are working in the medical domain, they are collaborating with the person who is working in the agriculture domain. So nowadays those kind of things has increased, but again, the editors are also now becoming very smart. So they used to have the desk rejection, one of the reason where the alignment of the research is an issue. So this is one of the ways you can go for the open access, by collaborating with the researchers who used to have the fund, and after like the paper acceptance only you will be able to have the policy whether you want to go for the open access or the subscription. So then the APC charges can be covered by the researchers working in the foreign institutions. This is the one of the ways. Another way of covering the open access or publishing open access is like in developing countries, they have the policy to offer a certain percentage of the discounts. So like there are several journals who can offer the student discount. So if you are a student and the leading author, then a certain percentage of the discount. So most of 50% or 40%, there are, based on the policy, the discount will be given. So this is one of the ways you can go for the publication in open access. In developing countries also, there are certain percentage of the discounts involved. So this is another way you can go for the open access. But my thought process is that the open access publication will give you the more visibility. That is fine. But you can only avail the open access once your paper is accepted. So if the paper is accepted, then if you do not have the facility or you do not have the resources to cover the APC charges, then you are encouraged to go for the subscription-based publication. So that you can do, because open access doesn't mean guarantee that your paper will be definitely accepted. That decision you can make once the paper is accepted, then only you have a choice whether you want to go for the open access or not. So if you have the resources, collaboration where they are going to cover, if you are self-funding, if you afford to do that, then go for the open access. Definitely you will get the more visibility. But otherwise, there is always an option available for the subscription-based journal. And for that, you have to choose a journal which offers the hybrid publication. There are several journals who offer only the open access publication. So you have to decide carefully while publishing, while submitting the paper. That is what I used to think in that way.
Thank you, Vivek sir. Now my next question, I think everybody will relate with that. Actually, once we are going to submit a paper, it takes long process for the review. So my question to Puneet sir is it ethical to submit the same paper parallelly to different publishing house? Suppose if you have submitted to Springer, can we go to another elsewhere house for a parallel submission?
So hello everyone, I'm audible. So the straightforward answer is no, but though we are Indians, we try to do all these activities via the hook or crook. So anyway, we are moving to the world of AI. All of you are aware of it? Now you know that this AI has taken a human brain in the form of a agentic AI. All the journals have made it their first phase of scrutiny with the agentic AI, and they have, all of you should have your Scopus ID and you should have your ORCID ID. Whenever you are submitting your paper, it's now become a mandatory that you should link your submission with the ORCID ID. That's make you authenticate that you are a real researcher you are a real author who is submitting. It is not an agency, it is not an agent who is submitting your paper someone on your behalf. So first level, that's where your level of getting not a desk rejection becomes somewhat less. Second, ethical way, you should not submit your paper in parallel journals because a unique ID is being generated, which is being getting verified at the globe level. Just like you check your paper in the Turnitin, you get a plagiarism. Same way they also check it that whether this paper has been submitted somewhere else or not. So if you are submitting in parallel journals, you will be blacklisted for years also, and you will never get a chance to get your paper accepted, even though it is a ethical one, right? And though you are a researchers, young scientists who are coming, there are three ways if you can have your papers. First one is the theoretical way, what sir told. Second one is your implementation, and the third one is review. Review is known as a SLR, systematic literature review work. Journal also accept, SCI journals also accept SLR, and I have seen many students who have done a SLR work, but they need to be have a X factor. What is X factor? That it should be different. Think beyond your out of the box. We do research. See, in India, two types of research are being done. One is quality and one is quantity. So, because of this AI model, quality will be up, quantity is going down. And that's why the desk rejection are high, because now this agentic AI tools are generating your papers, and they are getting a huge volume of bulk of the papers. So, they don't want to entertain any of the work which is authentic. Am I clear? Thank you.
Just to add on a lighter note, actually we do have a institutional pressure also. So in that case, our mind says that we do need to go for a parallel submission, but suddenly the brain strikes, no, it's not ethical to go for it. So that is what sir is trying to convey. Fine. So
I have an answer for that. The institutional pressure can be taken care by the early work and timely submission to the journal.
That's why I put on a lighter note word first.
Yeah, so answer is also on the lighter note.
I have an answer for your support also and for the student support. When we submit a paper to a journal, it may be a faculty or myself or yourself, we have seen that they have mentioned that first decision comes into 60 days, 90 days. Try to find out your aim scope and check on the scopus.com that in this financial year, that is 26, how many articles he is accepting. Like 24, he has accepted 250 articles. 25 he has accepted 250 articles. That means the acceptance rate is little bit higher side. Then check how many days he will give the first decision. Am I right? If the decision comes in within 3 months, they will take 3 months because it's a standard policy. If it is coming in 3 months or it is not taking more than, you can go for that journal for the submission at the first start of your work.
Okay, so the question itself is like legitimate question that why people are thinking to have, nobody wants to do unethical thing, like they are not willing to do an ethical thing, but nowadays there are certain good journals which take a time which is like beyond our reasonable time of like 1 year, 2 years of reviewing. Recently my paper which was submitted in 2024 got an acceptance after one revision only. Like it's not a multiple revision and there only one revision, but it took 2 years of time. Now I don't care because I already in a position which does not force me to produce the output in this particular deadline. But for the PhD scholars or those who are near to their promotion, they wanted the output to show to the institution that so this question is legitimate, but again when I think from the ethical point of view, we should avoid, we must avoid the multiple submission at the same time. That is what the bottom line. We should not breach that bottom line, otherwise the trouble will be invited.
Fine.
Quick one for the perspective of the audience sitting over here, BTech students, those who are planning for higher studies abroad. What sir said, I would agree to that. You should focus on the systematic literature review. That is going to give you more visibility as you progress along. Because many foreign universities are also having a criteria when they are approving your THC partnership. They also check for how much or what is the quantum of work you have done and what is your visibility on the scholar profiles, right? So if you are planning for higher studies abroad, I would suggest to go for a systematic literature review. SLR is going to give you more visibility, right? So that's a suggestion.
Thank you, sir. Fine. Now, as we can check that now we are completely shifting towards the AI mode of a research. So my question to Tusi sir is, how a researcher can balance the novelty and reproducibility? Because even it is getting effective to the experiment also, so they are doing fast, haste way in even generating a paper. So what sort of suggestion that can be given to a researcher in that case?
Well, my opinion, my viewpoint is ideally we should not merge this to concepts of novelty and reproducibility. Novelty from the perspective for the audience sitting over here shall be very limited. For the researchers, it is altogether different category, right? Novelty for the researchers or those who are already very much into the research is to advance the existing technology. And of course, AI can help you to find out the way whereabout you can find the novelty, right? In terms of reproducibility of the activities, AI primarily works as a black box. In a sense, you put in certain code, request, prompt, and it's going to get you certain output. But it does not basically always check about the viability of implementation. In a sense, we have a very famous concept in electronics that there is silicon to wet technology. The conversion rate is somewhere around 0.1%. That means whatever ideas are being generated on the computer, when it comes to the chip level, it is not even 1%. It is 0.1%. So in terms of reproducibility, from the BTech perspective, students sitting over here, what you can do is basically try to analyze and ask yourself that if I turn off the AI this point of time, or if whatever results I have gathered from the AI, if somebody got to do it again from the information provided to AI, whether he or she will be able to do it again or not, on his own, on her own. In that sense, if it is possible, then and then only reproducibility is possible. So putting something in the black box and a realization or actual implementation has got a very wide gap, right? So that gap analysis has to be done first, but it's for more like academicians or researcher like us, those who have spent a lot of time in the research. But for BTech students, it's just how you can implement, whether you turn off the AI and if somebody else can implement it or not, then it is reproducible.
So as sir rightly said, it is like we need to maintain a strike balance between the novelty and reproducibility, right? Suppose let's assume that if I'm writing something from ChatGPT, obviously if I'm going to turn it in, we'll get the 100% plagiarism. But sometimes if I'll write my own language, there are still a lot of false positives. We are trying to consider the various Turnitin tools or plagiarism tools like Turnitin, ChatGPT 0 or Authenticate. So my question to Hiren sir is it reliable and fair enough for a journal to decide a rejection based on this plagiarism tools or not?
Okay, so if we put it in this way, that if the journals are solely deciding the rejection based on the percentage of AI present in the publication, then it is quite unfair. If they are rejecting along with the percentage of AI content and other factors, then it can be considered a fair evaluation because whatever the existing tools we have, those are trying to find out the AI in our content are the estimated percentage and not the evidence-based percentage. If I want to give an example, that there are two type of scores are generated by this kind of tool. One is a plagiarism score, which we used to call as similarity score, and another is a AI writing. Now, in one of these factors, like in the similarity score, it is an evidence-based score where the certain portion in your text is highlighted and the supporting evidence is given that this portion is taken from this particular paper. So where it is a clear link, fact is established. So most of the time, the similarity score, if it is high, and on the basis of that it is rejected, then it is fair, it is considerable because it is evidence based. But in the AI, where the content is generated by AI, the tools itself, the tools themselves mention that there is a certain percentage of the false positives are also present in our evaluation. And I'm not sure about you, but I have witnessed on my own that one of the like report which I have prepared by starting from the first letter to the last letter, I have written the entire paper. Even in that, not paper, in the report, I find 20% of AI content which is mentioned by the Turnitin. So I was surprised that so then I checked that on what basis they are going to check the AI, and there are they are going to find based on the some statistical analysis. So that is not fair if the rejection is simply based on the AI content, but it has to be merged with the multiple other factors also, like sir has mentioned also that if the paper is out of scope, the technical depth of the paper. So based on that we can decide, not only based on the AI. And if any journals are doing this kind of thing, then we can say this is unethical. They should not do this. Even if they are doing, that is not in our control, but it is not fair.
I thought maybe one of the reason may be because there are a lot of AI research generated paper is getting generated. So initially the journal is getting 10 paper. Now it has increased to 30, 40 papers simultaneously.
Right. So if your AI percentage score is 90%, 99%, more than it, so that is okay. That is a direct indication that the paper is written not with the help of the AI, but it is used entirely within the AI. But if the score is 20%, 25%, then there is always a kind of we can say dilemma for the editor as well, whether to go this side or that side. So of course, based on the percentage, it should be decided. If higher the percentage, most likely the paper is generated with the AI. So that is what like in the similarity score also there are several difficulties we used to face. There are common words like machine learning, naive Bayes, like support vector machines. Those words are appear in most of the papers, but in the similarity score, those are also highlighted, and based on that, certain calculations are made. So now it is depend on the editor. When they check, they only decide based on the number presented, like the 25% similarity score, or they go through the entire paper and notice that there are several common words are present, which is like very common and has to be used in the paper. So again, it's like a subjective decision with the help of that objective score.
Fine, thank you, sir. Now my next question to Puneet sir is, from a mentor's perspective, what are the habits and practices that differentiate our average researcher from a consistently high performing one?
I will say in other ways, sir. So first of all, you all of you are using ChatGPT? How many? All. Right. So you cannot skip from AI tools, right? But how many are using ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Grok and Claude? Now tell me. All? All at a one time? No. The answer is you have to have your smart skill set and you have to be consistent. You know prompt engineering? The prompt which I asked from ChatGPT, I will ask the question from ChatGPT and give it to DeepSeek. I will get a solution from that and I will give it to Grok and I will get it verified from Gemini because I have a paid license for Gemini. I am using one paid version because that paid version will give you authenticated, but all the models will not be linked to each other because if you ask a prompt, then the answer which is being stored in that model will be getting on the same written. So check all the models. Are you getting a point? Then you can realize that how much power you need for this thinking purpose. Are you getting a point? So this is why you cannot skip from this AI tools and AI plagiarism. You may write giving you 100 rates for your own content, but definitely when you're going to check with the plagiarism, you will have your AI content. But when we are having AI content, why we are spending this much of time writing by our own? We should use a smart way of using our AI tools and reduce its level in a smarter way. Am I right? This you should be consistent and you should increase your skill set of writing. Nowadays you have seen when students writes a mail, you have seen that I'm fine, something like something that comes that it is the AI mail. You do that, but refine that mail with your observations. And then it becomes a smart and nobody will be able to detect that it's a AI mail. So you have to be smart, increase your skill set, and your LLM models which you have in a human intelligence need to be updated at least small every day. Right? Okay.
I think for my next question, I think everybody will agree with this point. Actually, even I also used to do this same thing right now also. If I'll say that to my PhD scholar that try to read this paper and summarize it in the next day or so. But within a fraction of a second, I'm getting an answer what is there in that particular paper. So the question is almost now everybody is now using a AI tool to summarize. So in that case, probably a critical thinking part is now getting vanished. So my question to Tushit sir is, what sort of advice we need to consider while reading a paper so that they maintain the old habits that we used to do, so at least they can have that particular part?
All right. Very valid question in a sense. From today's perspective, this is very common. Nothing new in it. And I look at it from completely two different viewpoints. First one is nothing wrong into it. If you are getting certain things extracted from a lengthy paper, wherein if you are interested for few specific information which you would like to extract from paper, research paper, as a part of your literature review, especially those who are doing their PhDs, right? Or those who are working in research methodology for the first time and planning to write up a paper and doing literature review. Nothing wrong into it. The second perspective is it is a problem. It is a problem from the critical thinking perspective. If I have to put up this question, whatever he has asked, as a prompt to get the answer, then my critical thinking is completely eliminated. It is, in a sense, critical thinking paradox. Getting immediate answer or getting more than the resources what we should have as a human being is definitely a problem. Solution, mixed approach, hybrid approach. Hybrid approach in a sense that rather than using your AI as the driving engine, you should ideally utilize that as a collaborator, in a sense like a friend, somebody who can give you the output as and when you are really in trouble. Let's say for an example, let me quote a specific example here. So as a BTech student, in 6th semester we have this research methodology, right? And then your teacher asks in your final year that you should go for SLR, write one paper that's going to help you, right? What you should do, should you ask AI to summarize you everything? In a sense, yes, you should, because that's going to speed up the process. The productivity is going to get enhanced significantly, no question about it. But then the same paper you can analyze on your own as well. So if I go back 20 years and if I to redo the same stuff, it's that way that I take up the paper, read starting from abstract, extract the information, read a little bit of results and discussion, extract the information, see what is there in the conclusion, extract the information. Then you summarize it by your own, and then you cross-validate with what AI has given to you. And then if there are any loopholes, and there shall be loopholes for sure, because AI's capability is to extract the information. It is not going to extract the knowledge. There is a difference between these two. Extracting information from the available data, it can always summarize the information that this is there. But why it is there, it's never going to tell you. And as a student, as a 6th semester student or as a BTech student, while I'm starting my research career, why it is there is more crucial rather than what is there, right? And that is only possible with human touch, right? So in a summary, in nutshell, it's good. Uh, why to reinvent the wheel if it is already there? Extract the information, advance the technology, right? If it is good for the humankind, let's keep on doing it, right? But if you realize it, this bringing into the society, the technological shift from the researcher perspective, I am now saying, not from the sense of the 6th semester student. From the research perspective, those who are doing research for pretty long time, they would agree that whatever research we are doing in a form of research paper, what quantum is effectively being utilized for the society is pretty less. You know, I found one of the entrepreneurs saying that, you know, out of given 100 paper, if I pick up 100 paper, 90 to 95 of them are useless for me. Barely 2 to 5 research paper shall talk about the technological advancements which are reproducible, right? So that challenge is there, but by giving the human touch, it shall be possible to advance the technology. So suggestion is go for the hybrid mode. Otherwise, you will really struggle when you will have real-time problems to solve. While you don't nurture your critical thinking ability, when you are in the industry, when you are placed in the research center, you are doing your research, you are working on the complex problems, and then you won't be able to solve because every time you got to ask somebody to get you the answer. And that's a problem. Certain complex problems, you won't have solutions from AI models, right? So keep your critical thinking ability active as much as you can while you are also taking help from the AI.
Thank you, sir. Let me share, Hiren sir has done a PhD outside the India. So my question to Hiren sir is, how important is to go for an interdisciplinary work and how to find out the collaboration among research across the various domains? And what are the ways to get some answer or to the research domain across the domain?
Okay, so the first thing is that everybody must go for the interdisciplinary research, and sometimes the multidisciplinary research is also encouraged. The advantage of going for the interdisciplinary research is that you can touch the domain in which you have no knowledge, but you have to, let's say you want to contribute in that domain. So without any collaboration, it is not possible. For example, I did PhD analyzing the ECG and SCG data. Both are related to our cardiac activities. I have zero knowledge. I am from the computer science department, so I can implement model. I can go through the data analysis and then model evaluation and all this part I can do. Now, I want to publish a paper, I want to do research, so I must need a data. So I cannot always have the only computer related data. Then I am limiting myself, but there are other domains like say agriculture domain, healthcare domain, where they have the data, but they don't know how to analyze the data using the intelligent models. So by collaborating only, you can make the situation win-win for them also and for you also. So the first thing is that, is it important? Yes, definitely it is important, so that it will enhance your limit. You can publish in the agriculture domain also, you can publish in the healthcare domain also. Otherwise you will be limited to, your scope will be limited, and beyond that now there will be a threshold or saturation which will limit your growth. So first thing, yes, it is very important. Now how to do this collaboration? So the collaboration, nobody is going to approach you proactively. If you are initial stage researcher, early stage researcher, if you have been established, then only people will approach you. Otherwise, it is you who has to approach. If you want your growth in your entire career, then it is you who has to approach. So currently what I am doing, not lot many people knows my work, so I have to publicize my work. So wherever I go for, let's say, to deliver an expert talk, so at the end of the expert talk I will discuss briefly about my research, so that the people sitting over there, might be there are few faculties working in different domains, they get to know that this person is working in, let's say, reinforcement learning or developing the models in the deep learning. So if I collaborate with him, we will have some mutual understanding in the research. So one of the thing is that wherever you get a chance to publicize your work or you get a chance to let others know your work, then you should do that. And the another thing is that you have to proactively look for the domains in which you are interested. So since my PhD is in the cardiac domain, I look for the people in my nearby vicinity in the universities where the people have not exactly working on that particular topic, but they're closely related to the topic. So I used to approach the biotechnology universities. I used to approach the like Sal Hospital as well as the cardiac center in the Ahmedabad. So I take the appointment with them. Of course, in the first attempt, you are not going to get any response from that. But in the repeated instances, you will likely get appointments. So currently, I am discussing with a doctor at the Sal Hospital who is working and willing to work with me. So the thing is that you have to look for the people who are working in the domain and then try for that. So these are the ways. Another thing is that by collaborating, you are expanding your thought process. Like if you're working in the computer domain only, then your thought process is very limited. But when you go for the interdisciplinary collaboration, you will get to know that, oh, okay, in agriculture domain, in this area also we can contribute. For example, I have discussed with one of the researchers in Anand Agriculture University is working to find the amount of organic carbon present in the soil. They wanted to do this using the drone, like using the images. So we used to plan that how we can capture the images. Currently the thing they are doing is based on the satellite images, but there are certain restrictions that you cannot get the constant images. Satellites keeps to move around the globe, and at the time when they are above your specific region of interest, then only you will get to have that particular image of the area. So we are planning to have the drones which will just do the mapping of the region. So like this, like I have never thought that there is something exists like organic carbon available in the soil which will help ultimately to grow the crops or increase the crop yield. But then I understood that there are the ways where I can do the image analysis and produce some sorts of the insights that can help the agriculture people to have this kind of the outcome. So of course the thing is that you have to be proactive. If you are very lucky, then only somebody will approach, and the chances are very less. So that is what the bottom line. Your proactiveness will define you.
Fine. Thank you, sir. I think today what happens is that every research is now getting measured by H and I indexes. Higher the H and I indexes, higher is your visibility. So my question to Punish sir is, what are the different strategies and techniques to increase the visibility of our paper in this crowded academic environment?
Once your paper is being published, and make sure that what Hiren sir has told, that make sure that go and present like a seminar, or a guest lecture or a talk. Make the ecosystem and what you have done it, and connect with your team, and then you can have if they are doing in the same field, they will cite your work, right? And connect with your network, the students, that if your work is related to that, you can get your paper cited, and citations are being increased in a legal way and ethical way, then your visibility in the market increases up. And when your visibility increases in the market, definitely people will attract you, will connect with you, and you will get an opportunity with the different country students, researchers to get collaborations. I'll tell you why I'm saying this way, because now everyone is watching you, our research. Previously our research was not watched. You know the word retraction? How many of you are aware of it? Students? No one? Anyone? Acha, if you're moving on the road and if you have jumped any signal and anything, you'll get a challan for that. Same it is like the retraction. There is an organization known as Watchdog. How many of you heard about it? They are watching our research. And if your research is copied and if it is not properly, definitely you will be in the retraction state. It is a hard part of the researchers for us, but it's true. Once you are in a retracted state, your career, your research will be in trouble. Do research in a quality way, go for less but go for a quality. And now this Watchdog organization is developing AI tool which will put a watch on all the researches which we are doing it, and they are being getting tracked. If it is not quality, it will be showcased to the public environment, and then you will be exposed. Are you getting a point? So don't think that nobody is watching us. So before publication, discuss with your mentor, discuss with your guide, make sure everything goes in a best way, and get into that what sir asked, citation. They are very much important. You need to cite, but in a genuine way. One or two paper, it's okay, you have cited, but not in an unethical manner. Because as I talk in an ethical way, because I belong to ex-of armed forces, though I do all those things in ethical way, I don't want to be in an unethical, because if I have a habit of publishing 10 papers in a year, let me publish 8 only, but that too in a genuine case only. Okay? Thank you.
I'll request even Tusit sir to share some visibility part, because we do use the research gate and so on for increasing the visibility. So is there any other way to increase the visibility?
Well, it may not be immediately important for the BTech students, but the academician sitting over here, it is very important. Increasing the visibility for your publication is very vital, and that comes through different indices, quality indices. As you rightly pointed out, H index and I index are the ones. So you can basically go for reviews. You can, if you are a supervisor, you can ask your mentee to cite the in a legal way, as rightly pointed out by him, and then eventually you can enhance the visibility of your research. One, second, if you have open access, then definitely by default it's going to, as rightly pointed out by sir, that it's going to have its own visibility. You can also put up your paper, published paper, if it is viable, feasible in the public domain, then also the visibility is going to enhance. So that's my perspective. Just before we conclude the session, if at all anybody sitting over here, BTech student, would like to give a very quick feedback whether this research methodology course helped you in any way. Because we would like to hear from you eventually is how we can strengthen our curriculum as well, whether this one was useful or not.
Yes, I am Shreyans Patel. I am from the Department of Information Technology at CSPIT. And so basically, when I opted for higher studies, and I looked up that curriculum that the students were getting, getting selected at one of the very good universities over abroad, they have been primarily focusing on how the research profile of that particular student is, then what he has done over his BTech course at about 4 years. So it really provided me a great understanding about things are how actually working. Like we are all living in the terms of artificial intelligence. We all are using LLMs on a very daily basis, but it is only the research that how actually helps us. And when we write a prompt, how does it go from our portal to the its servers? How does it get converted into its binary programs? Then that same thing is getting provided back in the fraction of time. So that is what research provides you, that how actually things work. It helps, it provides us a scope for optimizing of what the current situation is. So this course I have been doing the two programs that actually in the third year, that research methodology and the advanced, that is IRM. So it has been a great helpful for me, and it will eventually help me for my higher studies program. Thank you so much.
Constructive criticism can also help.
Any other question from audience?
Question or
Okay. Fine. So thank you everyone. Just to conclude in a brief way, I think that every panelist has given an idea how to select a journal, the scope, the admission process or a submission process, the integrity part, the authenticity part, and the most importantly, the visibility part. So thank you all panelist members. Please give a huge round of applause for everyone.
Once again, thank you so much to our respected moderators and panelists for such a deeply insightful and engaging discussion. Now it's time to express our sincere gratitude to our esteemed panelists who have also served as judges for today's poster presentation. To felicitate them, I would like to request Dr. Amit Thakkar, Head of CSC Department, CSPIT CHARUSAT, to felicitate the Dr. Trushit Upadhyay with a token of appreciation. Thank you so much, sir. Now we would like to request Dr. Nirav Bhatt, sir, Head of AIML Department, to felicitate Dr. Hiren Thakkar. Audience, please give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much, sir. And now I request Dr. Purvi Prajapati, Head IT Department, CSPIT Charusat, to kindly felicitate Dr. Puneet Sharma. Thank you, ma'am. Once again, thank you so much, everyone. And now the most awaited moment of the day. It's time to recognize and celebrate excellence. I would request the student coordinators to please take the table aside. We now announce the top 3 winners of Synergy X Multidisciplinary Research Conclave 1.0. Starting with the second runner-up. The second runner-up is poster number 23, Farhan Ali Vora and Waghani Keur. Please give them a big round of applause. I request Dr. Hiren Thakkar sir to kindly come forward and felicitate the winners. Congratulations team, thank you Hiren sir. Moving on to the first runner-up, and the first runner-up is poster ID 10. Please give a big round of applause for Yug Tumar. I request Dr. Puneet Sharma to kindly come forward and felicitate the winner. Congratulations, Yug. Thank you, sir. And now, the winner of Synergy X Research Conclave 1.0 goes to poster ID 5. Please congratulate Devang, Kushal and Shrey. I request Dr. Trushit Upadhyay, sir, to kindly come forward and felicitate the winners. Congratulations team, thank you Trushit sir, and a big round of applause to all participants. Your efforts and learning truly matters. Now I request all the winners to please come forward along with all the respected dignitaries for a group photograph. All the event coordinators along with the head of departments and the respected dignitaries, please kindly come forward. Let's capture this proud and memorable moment. Once again, congratulations, winner. To formally conclude the wonderful event, I invite Dr. Arpita Shah on behalf of entire organizing team to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Nishant, for inviting me. I think I'm audible, right? Yeah. Good enough. All right. A very good afternoon to all present. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a serious characteristic. Very good afternoon to all present over here. First and foremost, our sincere gratitude to the Dr. Kushiko Valia, sir, principal. I think he is the constant motivational speaker and motivational also mentor also for his constant support to the students as well as to the faculties also. I think he is a true backbone for making this successful event. Once again, thank you so much, sir, for constant encouraging us to keep such an event for the students' benefit as well as for us too. Our sincere thanks to our invited guest, Dr. Puneet. And last but not the least, we all know our enthusiast participations for making their efforts on it. I think within a short time, you have shown your great efforts towards us. We are looking the same enthusiasm in the future also. Thank you so much for your all participations, making this event on successful notes. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you so much.